Introducing the Sports Craze Punishment Podcast. Introducing contestant 1, Brandon Smith.
You know I'm loyal. I'm a Tennessee fan.
Contestant number 2, David Carty.
Hopefully our secondary can defend this year.
Contestant number 3, Riley Embry. Clemson. And last, and definitely least, the 4th contestant, Trent Davis.
How that natty taste for y'all boys? Let's get it!
How about that intro? Welcome back to the Sports Craze. I am your host, Trent Davis, and you've already saw these gentlemen as their intros. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good?
Fine. Doing great.
All right, I'll introduce the Gamecock first. This is my friend Riley Embry.
Spurs up, baby.
You've met him before. I mean, you've met everybody except for this guy at the end. You've met David Carty.
Howdy, y'all.
New guy. How you doing? Brandon Smith. How you doing?
The whitest name
In America.
I don't know. Trent Davis is pretty white too.
I know a few black Trent Davises. Well, not personally, but I've seen them on the internet.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Brandon Smith is pretty much a mixed name.
You think so?
Yeah, you can go black or white with it.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm wrong.
All right, we'll start the show with racial comments. I like it. Today, we are starting a new segment of the Sports Craze. It is the Punishment Special. Now, how this is going to go is each week you're going to, well, you might not see everybody each week, but you're going to see most of us each week, and we're going to predict the top 10 games of college football for that week. And at the end of each week, whoever loses the most games will get punished. So yeah, stick around because it's gonna get good and no pressure, guys.
You're gonna see.
Pressure.
You're gonna see Trent get punished a lot.
I'm a good picker. I'm a good predictioner. I don't know about you.
A predictioner?
If that's a word.
Predictor?
Predictor. You know.
You know it's
more than 10 views on this.
10.
You know you got problems when you got me giving you English lessons. So
that is a little worrisome. I've had a long day. Anyway.
What? No job?
That's a beep.
That is a beep. That's a beep. All right, if you're done roasting me, can we get on with the damn show?
Hit him up. He needs one.
Yep.
Shut up.
He got the job, man.
Oh, you did?
I got it at Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
They called me today. Anyway, we're not talking about socially. Come on now. We're getting to football. Like I said, we're doing the top 10 games of week 1, and I will give you a rundown of which 10 games there is, and we got a wild card game. I'll get to that later. So the top games we're going to do is Georgia Tech at Clemson, Duke versus Alabama in Atlanta, number 3 Georgia at Vanderbilt, North Carolina versus South Carolina in Charlotte, Northwestern at Stanford, 14th ranked BYU, 14th ranked Utah at BYU, UCLA at Cincinnati, Houston at Oklahoma, Notre Dame at Louisville, and the big one, 11 Oregon versus 16th ranked Auburn in Dallas. And the wild card game of the week we'll get to later in the show. But before we get into this, we'll go do this now. We'll do the top 10 games first, and then we'll get to our Final Four predictions and the national champions. So hope you are excited. So who wants to go first? I don't care who can go first. We'll let Brandon go first because Tennessee has been a laughing stock program for the past two years.
South Carolina been right there with them, but anyway.
Not quite been as bad as South Carolina. So Brandon, I'll let you go first. You can go. We'll go one game at a time. We'll start with the Georgia Tech at Clemson game at 7:00 Thursday night on the ACC network. Who do you got winning that game?
Clemson. Is there really any competition?
Fair enough, David.
Clemson as well. You might not see the option all the time, but I think you'll win the game. Clemson should pull.
I'll take it. Raleigh.
As much as it pains me to say this, it's Clemson, and it's going to be a rout.
Yes, sir. I agree. Clemson is going to rout. Well, listen here. We'll be getting our rings, So I'm not part of the team. I wish I was. But they'll be getting the rings or ring ceremony, and they'll get the national championship banner. I think they will come out a little sloppy, but they will win the game. I think Clemson will win it by a decent margin, about 4 touchdowns.
That's exactly how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, I think Clemson and Georgia Tech, I think it might even be tied after the first quarter.
I think it might be 14-14, something like that after the first quarter.
Yeah, because Georgia Tech is breaking out a new offense. Clemson's never seen Georgia Tech be a spread team like they're going to be this year.
I think it'll be close at the half. I've actually got the final score being 45-17 for Clemson.
Going on like a 28-3 run in the second half. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so we all got Clemson. All right, let's go to the second game. Duke versus Alabama in Atlanta, 3:30 on ABC on Saturday. Brandon?
I mean, Alabama.
This is going to be this man say every time we go to a game. I mean
who's Duke?
The basketball season yet?
Exactly.
Yeah, the basketball season yet?
Duke?
Zion's gone.
He could have.
He could have. Yeah, he could have. Zion's a beast.
Who you got?
Bama. I mean, there's no other option.
Hey. I'm sorry.
I've got Bama as well. I think it'll be a little bit closer than the other two are probably thinking. Duke's got an okay team, but they did lose Daniel Jones, and pretty much their whole wide receiving core is gone. So
that's true.
They will not be able to score. I think their defense will be able to hang with Alabama, but Alabama will pull out late.
All right, hold on to your stunk. It's Alabama. Upset alert. Nah, I like Alabama in this game, and it's not going to be close. It's going to be a lot like the Louisville game last year when they played Louisville. I think it was in Florida or something. They beat the brakes off Louisville. It was kind of slow. Like I said, they kind of start off kind of slow, but Tua, and then they'll start throwing it deep, and Duke's secondary can't keep up with Jerry Jeudy and all of them. So I like Alabama big in this game. So far we're two. We all agree.
Yeah. 2
games to 2. All right. Next game we got number 3 Georgia at Vanderbilt Saturday at 7:30 on the SEC Network. Brandon?
It's gonna be Georgia.
I mean,
you missed the opportunity.
But I mean, Vanderbilt is pretty competitive with Tennessee for the last place spot.
Yeah, y'all can't. Tennessee can't beat Vanderbilt the past like 3 years. Y'all lost them like 3 years in a row.
Maybe I don't know.
I think y'all have. But anyway,
he's quit watching.
Yeah, he quit watching. He don't want to remember that.
Okay. I got Georgia as well. I don't think it's going to be.
I thought you for sure was going to go Vanderbilt in this game.
No. I got Georgia winning, of course, but I don't think it's going to be a real high blowout game. Just the fact that we got all new wide receivers. We got a whole new section right there. And, I mean, we got Murray State and Arkansas State for the first 3 games. So it's really kind of a work-in feel at that point. Mm-hmm. So they just got to get the nerves shot out of them. So, but I feel like they'll win at least by 3 touchdowns. But it's not going to be a huge upset.
Gotcha.
Well, I've got Georgia as well.
Okay.
No surprise there.
No balls so far. We ain't got no balls so far.
Vanderbilt has no pass rush, and then Georgia may have the best offensive line in the country.
They do. I agree.
And I think Jake Fromm's going to have a big day. I got it 38-10 for Georgia.
Okay. I have Georgia as well in this game. Don't sleep on Vandy, though. I think this game could be like a 10-point game at the end. Like, I just think first game of the year, Georgia's still mad about not getting in the playoff and not beating Alabama and getting destroyed by Texas. And Vanderbilt, they got some stuff to prove. But in the end, I just don't think Vanderbilt has enough. Like I said, Jake Fromm will probably get a big touchdown pass, middle of the fourth quarter. And probably make it like a 14-point game or something. And then, maybe Stanford. Vanderbilt cuts it down, maybe let the field goal or something at the end. Make it like a 38-28 game. I got it kind of high scoring, though. So I think Vanderbilt can score.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think first game of the year, that home crowd.
Against that Georgia.
Yes, I think. Listen, I think I still got Georgia winning the game, but listen, it's going to be closer than many people think.
Many points.
Yeah, all right then. Can't wait for Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think it's going
to. And you'll be on the edge of your seat for some of you. Like, oh god. Nah, Georgia will win the game though. All right, so now we got the first game you could probably go either way with. You got North Carolina versus South Carolina.
What?
Charlotte.
What?
3:30 on ESPN.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
Fake news.
I mean,
say it.
I mean, I don't think North Carolina has had a very good football team. I mean, Last year they weren't that great.
They were terrible last year.
So I think South Carolina's pretty much gonna just kill them. I mean, I like South Carolina's chances of winning that game a whole lot more than I would like North Carolina's chances.
Fair enough.
Yeah, South Carolina as well. I think Jake Bentley's got something to prove, and he's trying to make his stock go up for his final year. So I think he's actually going to have a pretty solid year to make himself look good.
Okay.
Me and David agree on that.
I thought you'd go over North Carolina.
Yeah, I was flipping
On the
a coin.
edge, yeah,
It's a
I
flip of
figured.
a coin there. I got South Carolina winning. UNC just can't beat us. I can't remember how many times we played them in the past 10 years. Start the season off in Charlotte, and we beat them every time we play them.
Yeah.
Like David said, I think Jake Bentley finally has a consistent year, trying to make his draft stock go up. South Carolina's defense is going to be much improved this year by default, just because we had, I think, 9 out of 11 starters injured last year. Plus I can't remember the cornerback's name. I'm trying to get him, DeMarcus King or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's finally gone, so that'll make the defense better because I think he's about the worst college football player I've ever seen. And then additionally, North Carolina's got a true freshman quarterback, and Sam Howell's going to be starting that game, and he'll be playing a big team in a big-time game, and I don't think he'll be ready.
Much as I want to go North Carolina here, you've already seen my South Carolina preview. You know who I like in this game. It's South Carolina, but it will be a pretty close game just because first game of the year. You all saw the Florida-Miami game. I think it could be very similar to that game. Very sloppy as my brother's trying to come in the door. I wonder if I should let him in.
No, I'll get my own way in. Don't worry.
All right. Look. All right. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I like South Carolina's game. I think Jake Bentley will throw a couple interceptions, but I think North Carolina will turn the ball over quite a bit as well. And just be down to who has more talent, and I think South Carolina has more talent right now. But Mac Brown in his first year, North Carolina will surprise some people.
I think football's passed Mac Brown by. I don't think
You don't know. You never know
He's got
until-
the juice anymore.
I mean, if he didn't have the juice, he wouldn't have taken the job.
Saying he thinks he's got the juice, but he doesn't.
Anyways, I agree. I think South Carolina will win. So now we're 4 for 4.
It's chalk.
It's chalk right now. We gotta shake it up here. All right, number 5. We got Northwestern at 25 ranked Stanford on Saturday, 4 p.m. on Fox. Who you got, Brandon?
Stanford.
I mean,
Stanford. Not just because they're ranked, but Northwestern's offensive line sucked so bad last year. So I think Stanford's defense is just going to eat them alive.
Nice little fact.
I don't watch either team, but I'm going for Stanford after looking at some of my stats from last year. And they didn't seem to lose too many people. So I think it's going to be a solid year for Stanford.
I got Stanford. I got most of the scoring coming late. It'll probably be close game. First 3 quarters. I think Stanford pull out in the fourth. They're losing receivers, or Northwestern's losing receivers. We got Stanford's lost some receivers too, so I don't think scoring's going to be that high. But like Brandon said,
They do return. Stanford return to quarterback KJ Costello.
yeah, he'll be back.
He's back.
Northwestern, like Brandon said, has one of the worst offensive lines in college football. They were last in sacks allowed in the Big Ten last year, and they're also they've got 3 new offensive linemen starting this year. So I think it's going to be a bunch of holes in that offensive line, especially week 1. Offensive line is one of those things that you have to play together for a long time to be a good unit, and when you return only 2 guys and they weren't very good, it's going to be a rough
You got a problem.
night.
Yeah.
I got it 21-17. I think it'll be close, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Stanford will win by 4 there.
You got Northwestern.
He does.
I have Northwestern. I'm going out on a limb.
We all know who's getting it.
Clemson quarterback, former Clemson quarterback Hunter Johnson is there, and he's going to be the starter for him.
Is it because it's Clemson?
Yes,
No,
that's exactly
no,
right.
no. Listen,
And Missouri's going to be a great team.
Exactly. Missouri.
they are going to be a good
Missouri
team
will
this
win
year.
4 games this year.
Oh, damn, I
There's
can't
another
do
beat, and they were worried about me.
that. Oh man, I like Northwestern in this game because you saw how they started last year terribly. They lost. I think they lost to Akron at home, but then they won like 7 straight Big Ten games, and their only loss in their last 7-8 games with Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. They have momentum from last year, and yes, I know their offensive line is bad. I don't trust Stanford. Where is Stanford going? I don't see any popping stars in Stanford. Now, it's at Stanford does worry me. I mean, don't get me wrong, but for some reason, I just think Northwestern is going to be able to sneak out a win. I think Northwestern is just a better football team. They're going to be a better football team this year than Stanford. I mean, it's a battle of academics when you think about it.
Yeah, really.
Northwestern and Stanford, a whole bunch of white guys. So I like the white guys from up north.
Maybe Andrew Luck will come out of the
Come out of retirement and play.
come help Stanford.
Then I might get a little worried. But right now, I'm rolling with Northwestern in a very close game. I have it 24-21. So I'm the first person to go out on a limb.
Well,
so
I might lost so far.
All right, number 6 game. We got the 14th ranked Utah Utes at BYU on Thursday at 10:15 on ESPN. Late game Thursday night. Brandon?
Well, I mean, Utah.
You messed it up. You said well. You can't say well.
Well, I mean.
Utah has a very impressive defensive line, and the only way BYU is even going to stand a chance is if they stop that defensive line and they limit errors. But it's just not going to happen.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen with BYU.
Okay. It is a rivalry game, by the way. Just thinking.
Utah's
It's the battle of the Mormons.
most definitely.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Their last year's performance was just phenomenal for their team.
What are they? 14th, the 14th ranked team in the nation.
I think they're going to pull out easily over BYU.
Okay. I agree. Utah's beat BYU, I think, 8 straight times. They have
They had a few close calls along the way.
They did, but
this year's not going to be.
Additionally, they had the 5th best run defense in the nation last
Their
year.
defense is going to be salty.
Plus, last year, their starting quarterback and their starting running back were hurt. They didn't play in this game, and they still won. So they're returning Tyler and their running back, Zach Moss. So they'll be playing. I got Utah in a rout, 35-13, and it's not going to be that close. I think BYU probably scores late to make it 13.
BYU is a talented team. Utah is more talented. And it's at BYU Thursday night. This is when upsets happen. However, I got Utah going a long way this year. And I don't think they can afford to lose this game, especially in the Pac-12. I think it will be a pretty close game, though. Because BYU, I said, they are talented. I just don't think they'll have enough for Utah. And I think they'll win pretty. I said not convincingly, not like all y'all, but I have them winning this game by about 14 points, about 35-21. BYU will hang in there. It is a rivalry game. It is at home for BYU. Anytime that happens, it's gonna be closer than
it's not a long trip for Utah though. It's just right
still,
down the road.
The people at BYU gonna be fired up.
Utah's
that's why BYU's gonna be fired up. They're going to try to ruin Utah's season right off the get-go.
Or they're going to try and they're going to fail.
They will fail. Like I said, I agree. They will fail. Late night game, just not enough. I got Utah in this game, 35-21. So now we go to probably one of the most interesting games of this week 1. UCLA at Cincinnati, Thursday, 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Who you got, Brandon?
Cincinnati. I don't think UCLA is that good. They haven't been good for, 10 years at least. They haven't been good since they played Tennessee. And, we kind of went back and forth with them for about 2 years. So.
Okay.
I got UCLA beating Cincinnati. They're going to hurt Cincinnati's spirit right out of the gate. At home, they're going to be an upset, I think. That's out of the 10 games, they're my upset going to take over Cincinnati.
All right.
Go Bearcats. I've got Cincy.
We are split.
Cincinnati won this game last year. I don't see...
They destroyed UCLA, too.
Yeah, I don't see UCLA being any better. I don't trust their coach. Desmond Ridder is a beast at Cincinnati. Is their quarterback. And UCLA's defense is just not good. So I got Cincy winning. I think it'll be close. Probably like 27-24 or something like that.
That's a big game you want to watch. But the problem is it's at the same time as the Clemson game.
Yeah, who needs to watch a Clemson game? That game is, like I said, it'll be over.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, And it might be even worse than that. I think Cincinnati will beat UCLA. I just don't think they've got the defense to stop them.
Yeah. Chip Kelly, since he's got to UCLA, they've done a great job of recruiting. Like, they're going to be something to worry about in the next year or two. Like, they will. Like,
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Oh, have you seen the kind of recruits they've been getting? Like, Chip Kelly's been doing some work.
That's fine.
Not this year. I think they might make a bowl game. They can't get as bad as they were last year. Last year, they started figuring out near the end of the year. They started winning a couple games. And they started figuring out Chip Kelly's offense. Their players were buying in more to Chip Kelly.
What did they have him do? What did Chip have them doing on the sideline that caused some controversy last year? What was it?
Oh man, I forgot.
They were doing something. Chip's a wild man. I don't trust that guy.
He's a wild man. And fun fact for you, I am on NCAA 14. I'm doing a Cincinnati dynasty, so I know a lot of these players. I know Ritter. He's a monster in NCAA 14. I'm just saying. I know quite a few players on this team. So I'm going with Cincinnati. You best believe it. And I think they'll win by about 10 points. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be around like a 42 to 30-something game. It's going to be high-scoring. Both offenses are really good. So I like Cincinnati in this game. So.
All right.
So you went with UCLA on that one, right? All right.
I mean,
you were the lone wolf.
If I lose here, we're tied. So
Yeah, we are.
Since you made
Oh,
it
you got to use strategy. I see how it is. All right, this game. All right, next game is Houston at number 4 Oklahoma, Sunday night, 7:30 on ABC. Brandon, who you got?
I mean, Oklahoma. I mean, Houston was good last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that since Oklahoma got Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, Jalen Hurts is not a bad quarterback by any means. He led Alabama to multiple national championships. He's getting one, but I mean playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think he's got something to prove that he is a NFL caliber quarterback, and I think that
I want to go that far.
Oklahoma is gonna go. I mean, NFL caliber meaning practice squad, but I think
he'll get drafted. Is what you're saying?
Indianapolis needs a quarterback
as a safety.
I don't know.
But look, I think Oklahoma's gonna win this easy.
Okay.
But I think it might be a little closer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Oklahoma. It's about the same as it went with South Carolina. Jalen Hurts has got something to prove. Like I said with Jake Bentley, he's got a stock to build up. But not only that, I really think that Jalen Hurts will run the table on Houston with just his own legs because the man is fast. So
Houston's defense is right.
Just on that alone, I believe Oklahoma's gonna pull out with a high scoring game.
Get the sirens going. This is
Oh my God!
Air raid offenses. It's gonna be Oklahoma.
Oh,
it's gonna be Oklahoma. It's gonna be close.
get our spirits up.
It's gonna be close. I think it'll be a shootout, 48-40, something like that. I think the difference will be Jalen Hurts. I think he'll just playing against all those good SEC defenses and then going out there where defense is optional. I think they'll put up points. So, yeah.
All right, I like Oklahoma in this game. However, Dana Holgorsen, former West Virginia coach, he is at Houston now. And you know how much trouble West Virginia gave Oklahoma the past few years. Now, I don't think he has as much talent in Houston, but this game will be pretty close. And they got Derek King. That dude is a beast. You think Oklahoma's defense can stop that man? I don't think so.
No, but I don't think Houston can stop Jalen Hurts.
Derek King is quicker than Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying. He probably had a better, Derek King is a legit
got more talent
guy.
around him.
Huh?
Jalen's
I'm not
got
arguing
more
that. I'm just
talent
saying. It'll come down to what defense can make a stop at the end. And I don't really trust either defense here. Oklahoma's defense is going to struggle against Houston. Dana Holgorsen knows what to do against Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma has a new defensive coordinator, so that might throw a loop in Dana's strategy on offense. But Oklahoma, at the end of the day, will win this game. It'll be close at halftime and maybe closer in the third quarter. I think Oklahoma will stretch it just a little bit, get a stop here, get a pick six or something like that. And they'll win a very high-scoring game. like a 49-38 type of game. It's going to be high scoring, so I like Oklahoma in this game. All right, go number 9 game. Number 9, Notre Dame at Louisville Monday night on 8 o'clock on ESPN.
Louisville was atrocious. I mean,
Hey, you got Scott Satterfield coming in to save the day.
it's his first year. No. So
True. They got Lamar coming back?
Yeah, they need it.
they really do. Just go back to the red bird instead of the black one. But Notre Dame's defensive line is going to be so much better than Louisville's offensive line. That's all it is. It was a last year. It's going to be a year.
Fair enough.
Louisville isn't good at all. So, just as he says, Notre Dame is going to win easily. So, I don't think it's no contest.
So the reason Trent and I are laughing is on my notes here. I've got Notre Dame winning 40-13, and the only note I have under that game is Louisville isn't good. So
Fair enough.
Louisville's just not good.
Yeah, I'm an ACC fan, obviously. I'm a Clemson fan.
All Cupcake Conference.
F you. I'm embarrassed to have Louisville in this conference right now. Louisville is not good. I like their hire in Scott Satterfield. I think he's going to build the program sort of back up as much as you can at Louisville. But Notre Dame's going to blow them off the face of the earth. I like Notre Dame in this game like 52-7. Like, it ain't going to be close. So
We should really have mercy rules in college football at some point.
No. Let them play.
well, a couple years ago, they would have done the South Carolina mercy rule against Wofford. 56-7.
They still have the same
Happens. And he was the only quarterback to give Clemson any trouble last year, too. So
That's
You're not
true.
wrong.
That is true. All right. The biggest game of the weekend, 11th ranked Oregon versus 16th ranked Auburn. Saturday, 7:30 on ABC in Dallas. Jerry World. Go!
Why is Oregon ranked 11th?
So you're telling me Auburn's going to win this game?
Yes, Auburn's going to win. Oregon they were okay last year, but that doesn't mean they're an 11th ranked team this year. That's stupid.
I have a strong possibility that if Oregon didn't collapse against Stanford last year, they might have had a chance of making the playoff. Because I think that game took their spirits completely out of it. They choked that game away like I've never seen a team choke before. And they were a talented team. This year, I think they're bringing back a lot more talent. But go ahead.
I mean,
you like Auburn.
Look, I don't like Auburn, but Tennessee
Well,
beat
in
Auburn
this
last
game.
year,
War
which
Eagle.
was great.
It shows me how bad Auburn is.
But
Uh-oh.
SEC is pretty much dominating every other football conference besides Clemson. Clemson dominates the ACC.
You want me to come back? Okay.
But Auburn's going to win this game. Easy. And
Easy.
Ooh.
Woo!
What you got, David?
I got Oregon, man.
You're
I got
Whoa!
Oregon, man. Oregon's going to be an easy top 10 team by the end of this whole season. Oregon is going to be something that's going to be a threat to everybody.
Okay.
So.
That's a hot one right there.
It's going to be a close game. It's going to
It'll
be down
be
to
a
the wire.
nail biter.
I think you're right. I think Oregon probably is a top 10 team at the end of the season, and they probably win every game except for this one. I got Auburn winning. Their front seven is nasty on defense.
Auburn chokes every
Auburn's
game.
front seven.
First
No,
game of the
they
year.
don't choke against no Pac-12 teams. They choke against SEC teams.
Auburn's front seven is gross. Yes, Justin Herbert, probably the best quarterback in college football. He might be the best quarterback taken off the board in the NFL draft.
It'll be close between him and Tua.
I think he's better than Tua. The man's gross. I don't think he'll have enough. I think
He needs a
Auburn's.
bath.
I think Auburn will have one of the best defenses in the country this year. I think Nix will make this game closer than it should be. Their starting quarterback. I think.
It's a freshman.
Yeah, I think he'll struggle early. Oregon might even take a lead early in this game, but I think Auburn come back. I got Auburn 24-20.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the writing on the wall tells me to pick Oregon in this game. They just came off their best recruiting class ever. And that's Chip Kelly era. That's ever. Best ever.
I mean, when you got all them jerseys, man.
Well, that's true. I mean,
kids want to play.
Yeah, you got to look good. You got Justin Herbert, who is an experienced quarterback, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And you got, on the other side, a freshman quarterback making his first start in Jerry World. Big stage. Can he live up to it? All that's telling me, and Oregon's got receivers on receivers on receivers. They always do. Everything's telling me to pick Oregon in this game. But I'm picking Auburn.
There you go.
I'm picking Auburn. I can't trust a Pac-12 team to beat an SEC team. They never can.
Mm-mm.
They never can.
What
Washington had their chance last year against Auburn, and Auburn was terrible last year,
Yeah.
and Washington still couldn't beat them.
What happened last time Oregon and Auburn played each other?
Auburn won in the national championship
Yeah.
game, which was a great game, by the way. It was a low-scoring game. But I don't know. I don't know why it's just SEC is telling me. I mean, look at the writing on the wall. SEC dominates the Pac-12. I got to go with Auburn in this game. I'm not confident at all. I think if you were a smart man, you would probably pick Oregon just based off all the detail I gave you, more experience and all that stuff. But I'm picking Auburn in this game. It's going to be a lot like the Washington game last year. It's going to be like a 27-24 knockdown drag out, and somehow Auburn escapes with the win. I don't know how, but they will. So,
Looks like David's losing this week.
all right, and the wild card game of the week. Y'all should know about this. Is a Super Bowl right here. We got Charleston Southern at Furman Saturday at 1 p.m.
Go Paladins.
It is not televised. I don't think it is anyway.
Come down to G Vegas and watch this game.
Just come to the stadium, man. They'll let you in for free. I mean, there's plenty of seats.
For real, they got plenty of. Brandon, who you got?
Furman.
Why?
Because Furman was 6-4 last year.
Hey, research.
And they're not the best team, but compared to Charleston Southern?
Yeah.
They
party down there.
I'm pretty sure Charleston Southern lost every game last year, if not maybe won one or two. So Furman.
Fair enough.
Furman as well. Only reason why I say Furman is because when they played y'all last year, they hung with you for about a quarter and a half, and they just ran out of gas. So with their level of teams they play, they should win easily.
Clemson had the practice squad in.
Yeah,
I
they
know, but
did.
still, they hung with them boys. So I mean, I feel like they should win against Charleston easy.
I got Furman, and the reason is Adrian Hope. He's a linebacker for Furman. He was a freshman last year. He had 14 sacks. Led the FCS with 14 sacks as a freshman. He's going to contribute. He's going to probably have like 2 or 3 sacks in this game. 28-21 for Furman.
I like Furman as well. I'm trying to look at what that score was last year. You bothered me, David, by saying it was sort of close. Hold on.
It was probably like 52-7 or something like that.
I'm talking about the first quarter and a half. They held
What
on.
was it? 48-7. That's not as bad as I thought it was. Okay. No, that's reasonable. That's a reasonable. Anyway, I like Furman in this game. Charleston Southern, I've seen them play in person against Wofford, I think, a couple years ago when I was working at Fox, and they were. Furman's pretty good. I like Furman in this game by a pretty hefty margin. I like Furman in this game by 42-14.
I don't think Furman.
Go Paladins.
Damn!
Go Paladins.
Damn!
Dude, Furman is nasty.
Hey, I miss when they
Sorta.
were the Furman University Christian Knights. It's an acronym.
You're an idiot. More editing time. Thank you, Riley.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, real quick. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. We're going to give, each one of us going to give our top 4 final playoff teams and our champions. Brandon, give me your shot.
Come on, Rocky.
Give me your best shot. Don't
What you got?
go Rocky Top.
It's going to be Clemson,
Okay.
Georgia.
In this order? 1, 2, 3, 4? Like in the playoff seeds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State.
Ooh, okay. So who wins each game?
Well, what is it?
Clemson
1
and
3.
Ohio State.
Clemson, Ohio State. Clemson's gonna pull that one out. Georgia, Oklahoma. I think Georgia's probably gonna pull that out. And then in between Clemson and Georgia, I'm gonna go Georgia.
Oh!
I'm gonna go Georgia.
All right.
That's a good man.
The reason Alabama's not gonna make it into this is because I think Alabama possibly will lose to Texas A&M and LSU this year. Bold prediction.
Wow.
That's how it's gonna go.
All
If
right.
they lose both them, who we playing in the SEC?
Alabama still.
LSU.
Really?
Yeah. I think LSU's gonna be a force to be reckoned with this
They
year.
got to be able to throw the
It's
ball.
going to be like the Tides turned again, 2005. LSU,
Yep.
Georgia. I got Clemson number 1, Georgia number 2, Michigan 3, Oregon 4. I got Clemson completely destroying Michigan, and I got Georgia. Honestly, I got Georgia skipping out barely by Oregon, but then coming back and rallying and beating Clemson for the national.
Okay.
So I got Georgia winning the whole thing.
All right, here we go. This is interesting.
Number 1 seed's going to be South Carolina.
Oh my! Get
I'm just
out of
kidding.
here!
I'm just kidding. So it's going to be Georgia's the number 1 seed. They're going to go undefeated, win the SEC championship. Clemson will be the number 2 seed. They may be a 1-loss team. They'll win the ACC championship. Got Oklahoma as the 3rd seed. They're going to probably be a 1-loss team, win their conference. And then I'm undecided on my 4th team right now. I want to say a second SEC team like Auburn or Alabama will get in there.
Auburn's schedule's too tough to.
But Auburn,
unless they win all of them. But
I don't have faith in Auburn, and I don't think Alabama's going to be as good. So
But it's Alabama. They love Alabama.
Yeah, I think Alabama will probably get in there. I think the final 4 will come down, or the championship game will come down to Clemson and Georgia, and I got Georgia winning that game.
Alrighty. So
quite handily.
All right. So in the whole thing of this playoff system, the number 1 seed has never won the national championship. Fun fact. My number 1 seed for this year is going to be the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2 will be Clemson. Number 3 will be Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma, I'm sorry. Ohio State. And number 4 is going to be Texas.
Texas?
No.
Texas? Only thing come Texas steers clears. I don't see any horns.
Texas will make the playoff.
Fuck 'em.
Sam Ehlinger.
Fuck 'em.
And I got Clemson beating Ohio State. And I got Texas beating Georgia. And I like Clemson beating
I'm gonna
Texas
smack
in
the
the
shit out of you.
championship game.
Bleep.
Texas is beating Georgia?
They beat them last year.
Nobody wanted to play.
Excuses. Got a SEC. They great excuses, man. These
What were your
SEC
excuses
fans
against Bama and Clemson 2 years ago? Oh, it's Kelly Bryant's fault. You're full of excuses. I don't want to hear that bull. Thank you very much. Case dismissed.
That came from a deep, dark place,
It
did it
did.
not?
It did. Come from y'all Pistons.
I never gave an excuse. They just had more motivation. They were better than us that night. That was my
You
excuse.
didn't want to play.
We'll see.
No! They didn't want to play. What are you talking about? They didn't want to play. I'm just saying Alabama, they won. They deserved to win. They played better than Clemson.
Texas.
Kelly Bryant wasn't ready for Alabama. That's not an excuse. That's a fact. Look at the damn game. Look at the damn tape.
Texas will win 7 games this year.
Get the out of my house. Texas is going to the national champion. Texas is going to the natty. They're losing, but they're going to the natty.
Wins another one?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Because they're not the number 1 seed. Georgia is. It's the number 1 seed curse.
That's if they don't get caught for paying their players, because we all know they.
Everybody pays their players, sir.
Okay, whatever.
He doesn't. Thank you.
Yeah,
y'all can afford it.
Anyways, Texas has been for about 15 years.
They won national championship 2006.
Okay,
and they 5 and they played for another national championship 2009.
They've been for 10 years.
They won 10 games last year.
Okay, they play in maybe the easiest of the Power 5 conferences.
That's the ACC. As much as
I forgot about the
ACC.
ACC. I forgot the ACC was a Power 5 conference.
Texas will make the playoff. I'm not confident they'll beat Georgia, but I just said it just to get some views. So
Texas is
I can't wait to see.
so bad.
If I had to get y'all 2 agree on every freaking game. So if y'all 2 lose, y'all lose together.
Because we're right. I promise you, we're
The
going to be right.
punishments will probably be the me or David.
I will be 11 for 11 this week.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully I'll be 11 for 11. Then all y'all get punished.
Chalk it
I
up.
think it'll be all tied or something.
Chalk it up.
All right.
The only one I'm nervous about is Auburn. That's the one I'm nervous about.
I'm nervous about a few.
Yeah, good luck with Northwestern, buddy.
That's the one I'm worried about. All right, guys. Y'all have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
First installment. We'll get the hell out of my house. First installment of the Sports Craze Punishment Special, because I just couldn't think of a cool nickname, so it's Punishment Special. We're doing these every week. You might not see all of us every week, but you'll see me every week. I know that for sure.
Well, that goes
Because it can't be recorded if it ain't with me. So
Because me and David have real jobs.
yeah, my job is to jerk around all
At
day.
least he's been working the last
That's
week.
true. Hey, yeah.
All right, so we're done.
Spurs up, baby.
Any final comment before the season starts? Well,
How much longer do you
week
think
one.
your coach is going to be around?
We've been steadily.
Declining.
No. You watched Carolina?
I'm sorry. 2 years ago, y'all were 9-4. Last year, y'all were 7-6.
We had a much tougher schedule last year than we did 2 years ago.
Excuses.
And additionally, we have the toughest schedule in college football this year.
Second.
Who's got a tougher schedule?
And I think you
Texas
and
A&M.
right up there, man. Y'all are about tied, though.
Texas A&M.
Okay, maybe. I think we both have really tough schedules.
No, I ain't gonna say it. Y'all have
And
second toughest.
I'm telling you, we're still going to win 9 games this year. So we're going to win 1 game.
If y'all lose North Carolina, y'all ain't making a bowl game.
That's true, but we're not going to. We're going to beat either Alabama, Texas A&M, or Clemson.
I think you upset Texas A&M.
We will
Knock
win.
them out.
We will win one of those games. I think the Clemson game will be the toughest game for Clemson. I think South Carolina's going to come out there. I think Jake Bentley's going to want to put a stamp on his South Carolina career. And to tell you the truth, I've got South Carolina having it close at least. Closer than
We'll
it was
get to
last
that
year.
game in end of November.
South Carolina may contend for a SEC championship berth this year.
David, you got
May
any final
contend.
comments?
May
Final
contend.
comments?
Tennessee.
Tennessee bowl game. Bowl game. That's my comment.
Tennessee ball game? No, you can wish for it.
They'll make the Meineke Car Care Bowl.
You can wish all you want,
Remember
but
them
miracles
days.
are hard to come by.
That's fine. You know what? That's fine. I'll take the Meineke car carrier. It's better than the bowl.
I don't even think that's a bowl game anymore, though. I think they got rid of it when Clemson lost to South Florida
Who gets the
7
Dog
years
Bowl?
ago. Whatever it
Two
was, 8
things
years
I'm
ago.
glad we got rid of. One is the trash can, and 2 is Butch Jones. Those 2 great things we got rid of. Trash can, the defensive trash can Tennessee had.
Yeah,
That was literal
Y'all
garbage.
threw Butch
Yeah.
Jones in him and dragged him out.
pretty much.
You need to get rid of that ugly ass checkered pattern. That's what you need to get rid of.
I like the checkered pattern. I like it, too.
Not in the end zone.
You
Looks
see
like
field up there, or a whole stadium like that one time with people get a bunch of white and orange shirts. It's pretty dope.
My final comments is it's going to be a good season. Y'all all need to watch the games and watch this podcast, I guess. Because it's going to be fun all year. We're going to have a good time with it. We're going to get hurt along the way. And we might get mad at each other along the way, too. That's part of it, though.
My final comment is this the same shirt he's going to be wearing next year because there will be no new ones.
What does that mean?
Y'all ain't winning this year.
We'll see. That's the beauty of college football. You never know what's going to happen. For Brandon Smith, David Carty, Raleigh Trash Can Embry, and your boy.
why was I the only one that got a nickname?
You know why. This is a Sports Craze Punishment Special, and I'll see y'all next week.
Signing off.
Clemson.